Hello and welcome to my lecture. My name is Morgan Hansen and I am a senior at Cy-Fair High School. I am an active member of my school's chapter of the Science National Honor Society. Today, I am presenting a lecture over the topic of COVID-19 and cave syndrome. To start off this lecture, I'm going to talk about COVID-19. The big question here is, what is COVID-19? Well, COVID-19 is an infectious disease affecting one's respiratory system, including the lungs, nose, and throat. It is transmitted from person to person through respiratory droplets released when a person either coughs, sneezes, or even talks. COVID symptoms include, but are not limited to, fever or chills, trouble breathing, pain in the chest, loss of taste and or smell, and severe headache. There have been 577,000 deaths in the United States only. In Texas, there have been 49,776 deaths. Additionally, COVID has an incubation period of 2 to 14 days. The virus that causes COVID, which is SARS-CoV-2, has been observed to spread more easily than the flu, but not as easily as the measles. However, this still makes it an extremely dangerous disease. The next question that we ask within this lecture is, what is the current state of the pandemic? According to the New York Times, the pandemic is on a decrease. On May 4th of 2020, we had 21,960 cases of COVID. Later in the year, around August 2020, throughout February 2021, the United States witnessed a peak in the number of COVID cases. In mid-December, the U.S. started rolling out COVID vaccines from the companies Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. More than 246 million doses of the COVID vaccine have been administered, with 105 million people, or 31.8% of the population, being fully vaccinated. With that being said, we have seen a sharp decrease in COVID cases from January of 2021 to the present May 2021. The next question we seek to answer is, what have we actually experienced over the last year with this pandemic? Well, the pandemic has greatly flipped the world as we knew it previously. There have been many negative effects, including global quarantine, unemployment, undernourishment, phases of economic recession, and a lack of social interaction. These are long-lasting impacts that we will continue to fight for many years to come as a country. So now let's move into the topic that we are discussing within this lecture, which is cave syndrome. So the big question here and the research question of my lecture is, what is cave syndrome? Cave syndrome is a name given to a psychological experience in which people who have been in full isolation are afraid to return to their former lives. An article by Scientific American states that 49% of adults anticipated being uncomfortable with the return to their normal lives. With that being said, 48% of people who have been fully vaccinated still feel that same way. One doctor, Arthur Bregman, has attributed this new syndrome to agoraphobia, which is a fear of open spaces. Additionally, Dr. Nordberg from Reliant Medical Group states, "The danger is that some people have been so worried about getting COVID-19 for so long that it could spark symptoms of agoraphobia and other anxiety disorders." Jacqueline Golan, a professor from Northwestern University, states that it is going to take an abundance of time as we adapt to the new normal. She states that the pandemic-related changes have caused a lot of fear and anxiety due to the risk of illness and death. She says that even though a person may be fully vaccinated, they still may be scared to go out because they are overestimating the risk. Alan Teo, a professor at Oregon Health and Science University, attributes cave syndrome to 3 factors: habit, risk perception, and social connections. It has even been proven by Mr. Teo that cave syndrome can lead to hikikomori, which is acute social withdrawal and confinement. Additionally, it has been proven that some people do not even fear the actual virus, but rather just prefer the lifestyle that they have picked up while being in isolation. This was shown by undergraduate student Genesis Gutierrez, who preferred his pandemic lifestyle as he stayed home from college and attended virtual classes, saving him thousands of dollars. However, many surveys have demonstrated that the COVID pandemic has severely increased the levels of anxiety and depression within adults in the United States. Additionally, a poll from July 2020 found that 36% of adults are having trouble sleeping, 32% are having trouble eating, 12% have seen an increase in alcohol consumption, and 12% have seen worsening in their prior conditions. So, what can be done to help relieve cave syndrome? People with a lesser form of anxiety from cave syndrome should participate in stress-relieving activities such as meditation, faith work, prayer, and listening to music. However, those with a more severe form may need to partake in psychotherapy with a mental professional who can help with cognitive therapy. On the last slide is my source, and thank you for listening.